now we can segue this into, hey, we can't forget that this is also a thing about how police treat poor people and
Correct.
how
Correct, and how the laws, the police are extension of the law, enforcing the laws, how the laws treat poor people.
Because mainly it's a pretty much a pay-to-play system, the justice system. It's very much about if you have the money, if you can post bail, then you're fine.
Yeah.
Also, if you look affluent, then you won't.
Correct. Or if you can afford a lawyer, then you at least have a chance at a trial where your lawyer is trying to really help you out.
And also, if you have money, you don't live in those areas that are, problem areas, as they say, or no-go zones.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things about, hey, we need to look at this also as, an economic front.
Yeah.
As well. Here's the thing I just put
because it is, and even in Portland, we have homeless communities everywhere, and police called to just break them up. Do I fully endorse homeless camps? No, I don't like that people have to live in camps like freaking Hoovervilles.
But the whole solution of just, hey, let's just break them up.
Let's break them up.
And then they're just going to regroup
Or there's another solution of just keep them.
And
we just don't do anything. Just let
them be there.
It creates a lot of problems.
It's a lose-lose situation almost every time. Now, as we're going into this, a lot of people have been trying to, from the graciousness of the hearts, been posting a lot of quotes of Martin Luther King on Dream speech, not really just posting that, trying to, hey, I'm here, I'm good for you. At the same time, they often try and, it's not really, but it's often separated from the fact that Martin Luther King was at his rally was March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, which was supported by the United Auto Workers, the UFW, a lot of unions, a lot of religious organizations.
In that speech, in his I Have a Dream speech, he talks about how America's been dealt, even back then, the poor have been dealt a bad check by the government. They've been given a bad check by the government. The people have bought into the government. We pay taxes. We support the economy on our backs.
Yeah, and especially now
we get dealt back a bad hand.
I'm paying about a quarter to a third of my salary. Of my paycheck goes to taxes. Goes to
self-employment tax plus my federal and state taxes. My tax rate is about 35%.
Yeah.
For the
So what this goes back to is that I have a big problem with that. If people just say this is just racial, I can't put that away from that. This is also economic, and a lot of the organizations that are pushing that narrative, such as Barack Obama, Joe Biden, that this is just a racial issue. That this is about the identities, and we should be trying to ameliorate, and very much vague terminology. Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama, just addressed the nation, and he very much used those type of words, how this is a both-and situation.
Correct.
We have to both realize how we can move forward.
What we have here is a whitewashing of the situation. Making it solely one issue that's just, let's do this together, when really it is multifaceted.
Together.
It is multifaceted because part of the problem with ethnic minorities is their status as far as wealth distribution goes. Blacks in this country have the distribution of wealth in that community as opposed to the white community. There's crazy disparity, and there is crazy disparity in the white community itself, or the the majority of Americans.
Just think about remember the Dare commercials where a lot of times there was like a poor white family, and then they're the meth heads and stuff like that, and then back in the 70s it was the black kids doing marijuana and stuff like that. They've just pretty much just going on and on about just poor groups of ethnic people or whatever, and that's always been an enemy.
Yeah, and that says that, I mean, that's another form of the racism there, targeting that only blacks are poor, only blacks do drugs, only black, only racial minorities are the problems, and it's just not true.
And so
these
that's
problems
why
affect all of us.
I've been very much against those Nike ads that have been coming out. Even those Nike ads were a few years ago that are like, "We stand by Colin Kaepernick," the guy who took a knee.
Oh my God!
Thing. And it's like, obviously, you guys are part of the problem.
It's all for it's all for show. It's
all for show.
It's like that Pepsi ad that they had to redact and apologize about.
Or like that Corona. I mean, even throughout this crisis I've been going through. The whole impersonal thank you.
To all thank you. Because it's way cheaper to just say and it makes you look good from a marketing standpoint. Just say we stand with you. Not give any money, or if you do, it's a gesture. It's
versus like how much money do they invest into those multimedia campaigns?
A lot. So
which is like just put it
One
down.
thing that comes up for me is the Gap, the whole Red campaign. Yeah. With the AIDS, Inspire Red, and whatever.
Starbucks,
it was something like 70% of the money, 67% of the money generated by that campaign was just put back into the campaign for marketing.
And also the Susan G. Komen.
And the Red is just basically a big marketing scheme for Gap, making them look good.
To get into the red.
Correct. There you go.
So, yeah,
there's into the black.
Get into the black. I'm sorry. I'm not a communist, but I've always been in the red. What do you got for me? So, getting back to the conversation, a very big civil rights arguer or prominent person of it, James Baldwin, very good author, all that stuff. What he said in one speech is that Black America and white America is a lie. We've been lied to, and that there needs to be a separation of them.
Correct. And that divisiveness stuff. If I can pit these two against each other, then they're busy fighting. I can go and do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So there's only one race, though. The human race.
The human race. I really do think there needs to be a push to not for anybody listening out there. There does need to be a push about not trying to separate ourselves, as in such as, hey, this is a black problem. You do not understand what I've been through. I very much understand that point of thing, but it should very much be hoisted into, hey, we have a lot of commonalities. There's big issues that we can get at.
Correct.
Now,
and I understand that each community has their individual struggles and needs that like as Latinos and we look white. We have different problems than the black community.
But I think we have a lot more commonalities.
Correct, too. But that's also rhetoric. Is that we're all the same, and we are all the same. But a lot more white people are doing a lot better than the proportionate amount of black people in the communities. So what do you say about that? What do we say about wealth distribution?
That we're a poor son. To the person that's sitting at the desk at Kroger, the top head, we all look kind of the same because we're all buying the same food.
Correct.
We don't have enough money for stuff. We are all paying the brunt of the tax system.
Whites might buy more kashi.
They might buy more kashi. There's a whole I eat lobster, black man eats shrimp.
Lobster's getting cheap now, though. Shrimp is going up.
So yeah, there is a big thing about we should be looking at this and trying to get involved in a sense that, hey, we need to get labor costs. We need to understand that the minimum wage has not been raised for like 20 years, man.
Correct. And it's this is
and you can't get communities better by just trying to divest from the police and then using just like, we're going to invest in the black community. What does that mean? Are you going to
Correct.
Just make a community center and let's call it quits?
Yeah.
Or are you going to actually... Because I think people will improve their community if they actually have the control of their own money. And
Correct.
Like that.
Correct.
What does that mean?
If you're invested in the community, you are invested in the community.
And if you have the power,
gets invested.
If you have the power to be like, hey, we can all coop up, we can all gather our money together and make something, I think people are going to take a lot more pride in it.
Yeah, Brother West, Cornel West, call him Brother West because he calls everyone Brother Ortiz. He came out and said that there's been a movement kind of to appease the world, and I can't remember what to call it, but basically it's just blacks in power. Not changing anything, but just putting black people in positions of power, or black people getting into positions of power. He's highly critical of Barack Obama and other who say that they
want change.
Oh, I want change. I'm for these issues because it's part of me. And yet nothing comes out of it.
Exactly.
And that's the frustration because they're just playing. By doing that, you're just playing into the hands of those people in power. They want a quick fix. They want to say, hey, okay, you feel you're underrepresented, let's put someone in power.
Is saying that they're an Uncle Tom, is that the
I don't know, I'm not going to say that.
Okay.
But it's like saying, well, let's put you in power to kind of appease the people. Look, you got what you wanted. You got a black president. Look, but we don't really need to change it. It was big enough that we had a black president. We don't need to change anything else.